This was pretty interesting as part of MAGA's effort to try to distract us from the fact that Donald Trump has not lowered prices. He's not made housing more affordable. Prices keep going up. He hasn't secured peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. They want to distract us with shiny objects. So they appoint a MAGA Republican Congresswoman, Anna Paulina Luna, to lead this commission that's going to investigate all of these things. And I think it may backfire big time. She claims the commission is going to be bipartisan, which I actually hope it is. And I hope Democrats join this commission. And I hope they make the Epstein client list the biggest priority of it. Now, here, she gives a 16-minute press conference. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play about a minute of it where she talks about the areas she wants to investigate. I listened to the full 16 minutes here, and she mentions the Epstein client list once, kind of in passing, but then she talks more about UFOs, JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King assassinations, and she doesn't really mention Epstein again. I don't know if she really intended to include that in there, if she wanted to kind of bury it in the middle of the press conference, then not bring it up again. I don't know if they think having Anna Paulina run this, and she's pretty incompetent, is a way to kind of bury the Epstein story because she's not really going to be a good investigator. But I think Democrats should jump on this and say, okay, let's make the Epstein part an issue and let's bring up Donald Trump's connections with Epstein the way we do here on the MeidasTouch Network fearlessly. Donald Trump and Epstein were like very, very close friends. Epstein trafficked women who he found at Mar-a-Lago, like homeless women like Virginia Giuffre, who ended up working at Mar-a-Lago, were taken from Mar-a-Lago by Ghislaine Maxwell, the trafficker for Jeffrey Epstein. And that's one of the ways that Ghislaine would find the women. They'd find him at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump wished Ghislaine Maxwell well at her criminal trafficking trial. He says, I hope she does well. I wish her well. I mean, what a sicko. Donald Trump, during the most recent campaign, was flying around in Jeffrey Epstein's jet. I mean, Epstein's dead, but the jet from his estate was sold to someone. That was one of the main planes that Trump was using. He wrapped Epstein's jet in Trump 2024, the Trump 2024 logo, and he was flying that around. And then, of course, during the campaign, more women came forward who talked about how Donald Trump would hang out with Epstein. Epstein would bring them to Donald Trump, and Trump would grope them and touch them and make them feel very, very uncomfortable in front of Epstein, and how Trump and Epstein would tell these women about going to Mar-a-Lago or going to party and to travel with them. Donald Trump held beauty pageants for like 13, 14-year-old girls, would bring them on yachts, and they would like dance with guys who were like old enough to be their grandpa and grind on the little girls. I mean, it was some disgusting stuff. Let's break this all down. Let me come with receipts so you don't go, oh, Ben, you're just saying things. Okay. First, Anna Paulina Luna. Here she is announcing that she wants to investigate JFK, RFK, MLK, and Epstein. Okay, we'll play this clip.
Concerning the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A decision not just monumental, but pivotal. It is with profound honor that I have been entrusted by Speaker Mike Johnson and Chairman James Comer to lead the House Oversight Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets. Together with the help of the White House, our intelligence allies, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified submerged objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list, the origins of COVID-19, and the 9/11 files. This task force will be a beacon of bipartisanship. On the Republican side, Representatives Burchett, Boebert, Burleson, Crane, Gill, and Mace will be joining me, although I'd like to note that I'm expanding this to the entire governing body and will be allowing certain members to waive on. Our first hearing is set for March. The date will be announced soon, and we've already initiated close to a dozen communications with various agencies, to include Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice and the Secretary of State. This will no longer be a task force that makes bold promises only to fade into irrelevance or send strongly worded letters. This will be a relentless pursuit of truth and transparency, and we will not stop until the American people have the answers they deserve.
All right, let me help you out, Anna Paulina Luna. Maybe the first thing you should look at the flight logs, because Donald Trump was all over that airplane over and over again. You take a look at least 6 or 7 times on the flight logs. Also, Epstein went on Trump's plane. One of the witnesses said that Epstein brought a girl on the plane. Couldn't tell if she was 14 or 15 or in her 20s because of all the makeup she had. A person of indeterminate age, the witness described it. Oh, by the way, you want to investigate RFK? How about the fact that RFK Jr. flew on the Lolita Express with his friend Jeffrey Epstein, and he said that they were friends. Look, here was Donald Trump when he was interviewed by Fox during the campaign, and you can see the absolute fear and panic when Trump was asked if he'd declassify the Epstein files. Here, play this clip.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Remember at the outset of the video where I said that Donald Trump wished Ghislaine Maxwell well? He said, I wish her well during her trafficking case where she was convicted of trafficking for Epstein. Here, play this clip. You'll hear him in his own words. Let's play it.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Mr. President.
Here's the airplane that Donald Trump flew in, which was Epstein's jet. Ted Lieu, Democratic Congress member during last congressional term, he came with receipts as well. Give him some credit. He's a superstar in the Democratic Party. Here he is.
So like Chairman Aguilar said, we hear a lot from our constituents on different issues, but something I've heard that doesn't seem to be being covered are the Epstein files. These files were released, and like Donald Trump's sort of all over this, right? There are pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He's taken multiple plane flights with Epstein, with young girls on board. He is on call logs with Epstein. One of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter right now is about Trump and Epstein. I'm not going to repeat the hashtag because we're in a dignified setting. But yeah, y'all might want to look at that because that's highly disturbing. And again, it shows that Donald Trump is unfit for office. And by the way, he was convicted in a civilian court for sexual assault, convicted in a separate court of 34 felonies. Donald Trump should drop out of the race.
And there's countless photos of Donald Trump with Epstein. Trump would bring his kids around Epstein during the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. A woman who was 14 years old at the time, she's now a woman, said that when she was 14 years old, Ghislaine Maxwell and others brought her, or Epstein, they brought her to Donald Trump, this 14-year-old girl, this Jane Doe who testified. By the way, here is depositions from the Epstein files right here that talked about Epstein, one of the women girls who Epstein trafficked. She testified and said how Epstein brought her to one of Trump's casinos, and he called Donald to be there as well. Let's talk about this. Here's audio of Donald Trump talking about Lindsay Lohan when Lindsay Lohan was either 17 or 18 years old at the time of this audio recording. Listen to what Donald Trump said about Lindsay Lohan. Again, just about 17 or 18. Play this clip.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan, Howard?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck like the way he is,
Right.
you imagine the sex with this troubled...
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day...
How come the deeply troubled women,
Yes.
deeply, deeply troubled,
Right.
they're always the best in bed? If for some reason what I said is true, I mean, they're just unbelievable.
I could tell from the...
You don't want to be with them for the long term, but for the short term, there's nothing.
Here's Donald Trump bragging about inspecting the women at his beauty pageants naked without their consent, and he would say that he would love to do it. He bought the beauty pageant, so one of the things he liked to do, he would say that he was the owner, so he got to look at their bodies naked with no consent. Here, play the clip.
What you could also say is the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like
everything
a
is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
And then you have all the deposition testimony of Donald Trump, like this one, where he, talks about the Access Hollywood tape, and where he says he grabs women by their vaginas because he's famous, and they let you do it when you're famous. He said, here, play this clip.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
And
finally, I'll show this for you as well. Let me show you two things. The beauty pageants. These were some of the girls in the beauty pageant, a look of the year competition that Donald Trump held at his hotels. Those were the girls who would go on the boat trips, and Trump was on those boat trips, and the old men would grind on the girls at the boat trip, The Guardian had reported. And here's Donald Trump at the Young Republican event. This was last year. Donald Trump said that a military general told him that he was courageous, more courageous than any of our soldiers, when Donald Trump said that it was locker room talk when he referred to, when he talked about grabbing women by their genitals. He claims that this general told him that when he said that's locker room talk, that was the bravest, most courageous act the general had ever seen who saw war. Here, play this clip.
But I went onto that stage just a few days later, and a general who's a fantastic general actually said to me, "Sir, I've been on the battlefield. Men have gone down on my left and on my right. I stood on hills where soldiers were killed. But I believe the bravest thing I've ever seen was the night you went onto that stage with Hillary Clinton after what happened. And then that woman asked you the first question about it. And I said, locker room talk. It's locker room talk. What the hell? What are you talking? Locker room talk." That was not a great...
Should be noted, Donald Trump said that during a Young Republican event. Trump was speaking to teenagers and college students at that Young Republican event and telling that story about how he bragged about sexually assaulting women. He's also been found liable for sexual assault in the E. Jean Carroll case. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Let's investigate it, Anna Paulina Luna. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the files. Let's open up the files. Democrats, call for transparency, full transparency. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.